Did you know that about 30% of the food that's planted and harvested globally is never consumed? We're talking food waste on Extension Today.
Extension Today is sponsored by the Ohio State University College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences.
The amount of food wasted in our world today is staggering. Joining me to talk about this topic is Brian Rowe, a professor in the College of Food, Agriculture, and Environmental Sciences. Brian, why should we care about this topic?
Yeah, our world is growing. We're expecting 9 to 10 billion people. And if we're wasting a third of our food, that means there's so much more that we can do to help feed people today. If we think about the amount of food wasted, it's over 1 billion tons per year. Think about it this way, if you put an entire 18-wheeler full of food, you could do that 40 million times, and that's about the amount of food that's wasted across the globe each year.
And that's globally. Let's bring it a little more close to home. What does it look like in the United States?
Sure. In the United States, we're still wasting about 1/3 of the food that's produced in the United States. So if you would take, say, Ohio Stadium, fill it up to the rim every day with food waste for an entire year, that's the amount of food that's being wasted in the United States today.
Wow, that is a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so talk about some of the consequences of that environmentally, financially.
Yeah, one of the big worries is about food security. About 1 in 8 people in the United States during 2021 was food insecure for kids, and about 1 in 6. When you're wasting that much food, it means food could be immediately recovered and shared with some of those food insecure individuals. And if you didn't waste that much food, the prices of food would then come down. If we added 1/3 of food back onto the shelves, prices would come down, and so that would make food much more affordable and take away one of the barriers for those food insecure households.
And how about the environmental impact?
Yeah, when you waste 1/3 of the food, that means you're wasting 1/3 of all the land, all the chemicals, all the seed, all the labor, all the transportation, all the energy that went into creating that food. And then most of that goes right into the landfill. And we don't need any more landfill. In fact, about 20% of our landfill space is taken up with food. And all along that process, it's creating greenhouse gases, particularly in the landfill with methane. And that obviously contributes to issues with global climate change and other issues of environmental quality.
So what are some things that we as consumers can do to prevent this?
Yeah, the good news is every day we can do something. One great thing that some have suggested is to set out a mission for yourself to have a fridge night every week, where you make a recipe just with the things that are in your fridge, in your shelves, in your pantry, in your freezer, so that you're not just wasting those. Second, before you go shopping, it's good to shop your fridge first. Oftentimes we'll buy redundant items or forget that we have things that we need to use up, so we can go out shopping with that idea in mind that we can use up those items in the fridge. Third, produce is among one of our most wasted food items, so there's lots of storage tricks. Make sure you use your fridge. Oftentimes you can put things into the freezer if you don't think you'll use them immediately, and that's a great way to extend life and get more out of your budget. And finally, check the date labels. Oftentimes people think the date label is identically equal to food safety, but usually the date is more about the quality of the food, so you can oftentimes think more critically about whether or not you want to toss out those items just because it's a day past the date on the label.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today to share these tips. If you want to learn more about how to prevent food waste, we have great tips and resources at go.osu.edu/Extension Today.
Extension Today is sponsored by the Ohio State University College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences.